Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's session, we are going to talk about basic inputs, basic outputs, and comments in C program. We will also write a program at the last and we'll see most of the things that we are going to talk today. Talking about basic inputs, this is the way that you get input from your standard input devices to computer. So you write a program, let's say, for doing something and that needs some inputs. For example, you write a simple program to add two numbers. So you need first number and second number from to be entered from computer from the keyboard. So that is what we call it as basic input. And likewise, if you have done some sort of computation and you want to display that value on standard outputs, let's say for example monitor, so that is output. So there are ways and there are functions or there are utilities available in C which we use for doing inputs, outputs, and further we'll talk about comments also. The basic output in C is done through a function called printf. Printf is a function, printf, all in small as we know. This is an inbuilt library or a function that sits in a header file called standard input output header file, stdio.h. Having said that, this function sits here. Now you might have got that whenever you want to use this function, standard input output.h library, stdio.h, has to be included with your program. That's all. The syntax to write it, it's very simple. Everything that you write in within the opening and closing small bracket of printf would be printed. Okay, so it's a very simplest example. Hello world, welcome. So this hello world and welcome will be printed on the screen. So we have not done much on this. It's simply a single statement that we are printing. There could be a possibility that when you are printing the values, you could be requiring that, see, the welcome has to be printed in the next line. Maybe your cursor should be coming to the beginning, or lots of things that you would be doing. You would be expecting to be done while printing or while displaying it on the standard output device. For that, we have something called escape sequences. So escape sequences are, the sequence of characters used inside this string. So basically, inside this. So we can use these escape sequences there, and they are used for actually giving some breaks or escapes to the expected escapes or expected breaks in the output that you are going to provide. The purpose to represent the characters that cannot be used normally is another purpose of this as well. So for example, we have something called \n. This is a new line. So whenever you want that your line has to be printed in next line, \n. Likewise, we have many, \a for beep or alarm, \b, which brings your cursor one step backward. For example, you have specified printf and b, so the cursor one time b, the cursor will be here. If you present two times b, \b, then the cursor will be here. Likewise, it will keep on moving from backward. Carries the turn brings your cursor in the beginning of the current line. Horizontal tab is the tab, white to space. We have vertical tab and the others. The one thing that it's really gets confused and people actually are not sure about is question mark, because when you do the printf of question mark, like printf hello world question mark, this also gets printed. But why we have as a escape sequence? There are something called trigraph in C. So the trigraphs are the combination of three characters which will produce a single character. For example, if you have a trigraph called question mark uh, exclamation, this will create a pipe sign here. So if you are not using escape sequences with the question mark, and if by chance you have written question mark and something else, it may translate that it will not print these value but will print these. So you may get confused. That's why question mark has to be whenever to be written has to be preceded with \, and it's to be considered with escape sequence. Hope I could make this this makes sense to you now. I will see in the example. Going for the basic input. So the input is that to take input from your keyboard. So scanf is a function which is used to get input from your standard input device. And the syntax for stand-up scanf is we have something called format specifier, and this is the variable name. For those who are quite new here, a variable name is nothing but a named location. Let's say you wanted to store something. So if you want to go to buy vegetables, then you keep a bag with you wherein you can carry vegetables to you. Likewise, you go to buy a milk from a milk booth. So you keep a milk container with you. So likewise, every item that you want to keep has a different features. Like the vegetables can be kept in bag, but the milk cannot. So for milk, you have to have a milk container, right? So likewise, this num1 is a container wherein we can keep some numeric values. And the percentage D is a format specifier, which specifies that this is a numeric value or integer value has to be accepted and to be stored in num1. So this is the simplest syntax for writing a scanf. We will try this out. I think it will take a day or two for you to understand. I mean, to get habituated with this, and then you would be able to write lots of things, and you would be able to understand how to write scanf functions. So likewise, like we have D, we have lots of other format specifier characters, percentile C for character, D for, as I told, integer, E for scientific notation of, F is for float, G is for current precision of float type, and likewise there are many. We can try all those one by one. Going quickly for the comments and talking about the comments. So whenever you write a program, you know that program is a set of instructions. We have been talking a lot about this as in our every video. So set of instruction that you give to computer. So let's say this is the program that you see on the screen right now, the simplest program. Just consider you are writing a complex program, a huge program to write doing lots of things. And let's say example that there was a developer who was writing those codes and he worked there in a company X for 5 years and then he left. What happens if your codes are not properly documented or commented out? What happens second time once somebody takes it up a look, and then he would not be able to understand what's exactly written. I mean, it will take time for him to do as compared to if the codes have been properly commented. So codes, whatever you write, has to be properly commented. That's the beauty. I mean, that is considered to be the best practices, to comment your code so that if somebody else is looking at he or she will be able to understand it properly. So C provides us the facilities to write comment in two ways: a single line comment and a multi-line comment. Single line comment can be written within the two forward slashes followed by a line, and the multi-line comment can be written a forward slash asterisk and all the lines, and then closing should be done with the asterisk and forward slash. So within this, whatever you write will be considered as comment. So I hope these three things are clear to you. I will now take you to the editor, which where we will try to see most of the programs or most of the concepts that we have discussed today. So let's go there. So I am here now in Google Chrome, and we know I have just saved a bookmark of GDB Online Debugger. And now what I'm trying to do is I will remove these additional lines written. I have copied some code which I have earlier tried in order to save the time and just pasted it here. So basically here I have just tried to, the first thing that we saw was to printf. So you are writing printf, and then you can write hello world, and then you can say welcome. So just run this and let us see this gets run. Here you can select the language. Let me select the language. This runs hello world, welcome. Obviously there is one line existing here, so let me comment, not worry. Let's see that. Now this is the way to do that printf. Likewise, I'm just trying to go and to check some of the escape sequences. This is a escape sequence called percent backslash n. So you see that this is the first line and backslash n and new line. So what will happen? This will be printed in the one line and a new line will be created, a new return line. Next line, it will be written in the next line. So let us check. You can see here, the first is written in the first line and that backslash created a new line here. The other escape sequence is for beep. So if you'll see, you will notice that once I run the program, you will see a beep. So you hopefully you just got a glimpse of beep, the machine's beep. So the beep or alarm. The other sequence is \b. So here I'm also using a scanf function. You can see here I am using percentile, and the num1 is a integer type of variable which I have declared here. This is the way you declare the variable. We'll be talking about this in detail, but just for now, just consider this is the way. And running it, and you see my cursor where it is blinking. It is blinking two spaces back. I mean three spaces back. The dot, T, and R. It should supposed to blink here, but now it is blinking here. Okay, so this is the way that we can use for. You can use this. If I remove this and then I am running it again, then my cursor is blinking at the right place. You can see, right? But if I am not removing, then my cursor will blink at the three lines back. So you see that three characters back. Okay, so this is back. So I'm commenting it out again. Quickly. Now this is about form pit, and then return brings the characters in the beginning of the next line. So if I wanted to show you quickly, so you see that the cursor has come to the beginning of the line. It's supposed to stay here, but it is coming to the beginning of the line. So these all are escape sequences. Likewise, the most important is the question mark, which I wanted to show. Let's say I have just removed these escape sequences. So what are you expecting? You should expect question mark equal to return. But once you run this, you see something else. A trigraph, sorry, not telegraph, trigraph. So you see that pipe sign is getting printed here. So this is what we see. Now you see this is question mark equals to printed because I have escaped it. But once I'll remove it, it will be translated as a trigraph. Okay. So these were very quick escape sequences. Talking about the format specifier, apart from percentage %d, the others I will be talking in future because that requires for us to understand data types first, and then we will go ahead with these. As far as the comments are concerned, you can see these comments. Apart from this, we can write the multi-line comment also. This is an example of multi-line comment written in C, and here it goes. So you can write the multi-line comment like this, right? Hope the concept which we discussed about basic inputs, outputs, and comments are clear now, and you have been able to get all those which I wanted to communicate to you. See you next video. Take care.